choosing between the 2025 Ford Explorer and 2025 Toyota 4Runner. Here are some factors to consider when choosing between the 2025 Ford Explorer and 2025 Toyota 4Runner. 2025 Ford Explorer. The 2025 Explorer introduces some new updates to an already fantastic 3-row family vehicle. The new standard 13.2-inch infotainment screen replaces the 8.0-inch base screen and the larger vertically oriented 10.1 screen in the more expensive trims. Along with the updated technology, the refreshed Explorer drops from 8 to 4 trims and sports a new front fascia to keep things interesting. 2025 Toyota 4Runner. With the previous generation dating all the way back to 2010, the new generation coming for the 2025 model year is a much welcome update. Gone is the tried-and-true 4.0-liter V6, and in its place, the same 2.4-liter turbocharged inline-4 used in the latest Tacoma. Other updates include an 8-speed replacement for the antiquated 5-speed transmission and tech that should satisfy the modern consumer. The Explorer, even with the 6th generation being introduced in 2020, has been a popular vehicle, with Ford selling more than 200,000 units yearly, according to Good Car Bad Car. Though it wasn't in dire need of an update, some changes have been made to the interior, infotainment, and front fascia. The 4Runner is brand new for 2025, meaning a new engine, new transmission, and an overhaul similar to what we've seen in the recently revealed 2024 Toyota Tacoma. While the 4Runner has been a strong seller over the last 5 years, it desperately needed an update. Thankfully, Toyota has come through with some major changes that shouldn't compromise the reliable off-road capable SUV we all know and love. Performance and capability. Much like the previous generation of the Toyota 4Runner, which dates back to 2010, the 6th generation of the fan-favorite off-roader only has one engine option. Though it may come as a disappointment, the 1GRFE 4.0-liter V6, the standard engine on the 4Runner since 2002, has been replaced by a 4-cylinder. Before you rush to your local Facebook owners group or grab your pitchforks, let's take a quick look at the 4Runner's past. Introduced in 1984 in the US as a modified Hilux, the 4Runner was equipped only with a 2.4-liter carbureted engine. In 1985, a fuel-injected version was introduced, and interestingly, a 2.4-liter turbocharged engine found its way into the lineup in 1986. It wasn't until 1988 that the first optional V6 engine was introduced, though the V6 wouldn't become the standard engine until 2001. Perhaps the most well-known engine to power the 4Runner over the years was the 4.7-liter 2UZF EV8, which was an option between 2002 and 2009. Now, we're not saying that mourning the loss of the V6 for 2025 isn't warranted, as it surely is. However, what can be said is that the new T24A FTS 2.4-liter turbocharged inline-4 is still very much a 4Runner thing. It's pretty powerful, too, with 278 horsepower and 317 pound-feet of torque right out of the box, increasing the torque figure of the old V6 by 39 pound-feet. Add in the 1.87 kilowatt-hour battery and hybrid components, and suddenly, power is increased to 326 horsepower and an eye-watering 465 lb-ft of torque. The Explorer, on the other hand, though without its V8 option since 2010, has two distinct engine options. Either a 2.3-liter turbocharged inline-4 that produces 300 horsepower and 310 lb-ft of torque, or the more powerful 3.0-liter turbocharged V6 that pumps out 400 horsepower and 415 lb-ft. Toyota and Ford offer the same transmission irrespective of engine choice or hybridization. For Ford, the instrument of choice is the 10 or 60-10-speed automatic transmission. The number is a rough stand-in for Ford transmission's input torque rating, in Newton meters. In other words, the 60 in 10 or 60 stands for 600 nanometers, 443 lb-ft, while the 80 in 10 or 80 stands for 800 nanometers, 590 lb-ft. This means the 10 or 60 can handle less power, but it is reportedly 29 pounds lighter and should allow for greater fuel efficiency, perfect for a family hauler like the Explorer. Ford introduced the 10 or 60 on the Explorer in 2020 and then again on the Bronco in 2021. Toyota uses an Aisin Design 8-speed, designated AL80E for rear-wheel drive variants and AL80F for the four-wheel drive models. This is somewhat speculative, given Toyota hasn't released specifics on their 8-speed on the 4Runner, but if the newest Tacoma is anything to go by, the new 4Runner should be equipped with the same 8-speed. What's not new about the 4Runner is the plentiful off-road trims and features available. Toyota says the new Trailhunter will include OME 2.5-inch forged shocks with rear external piggyback remote reservoirs along with 33-inch Toyo Open Country A/T tires and an extra 2.5 inches of ground clearance in the front. Other goodies like a locking rear differential, rock rails and high-strength steel skid plates, a 3D multi-terrain monitor, and disconnecting stabilizer bars will be available. Toyota expressed a desire to create a turnkey overland rig, and with the features they've revealed thus far, it seems they've managed to do just that. It ultimately comes down to what you plan to use the vehicle for. With Ford no longer offering even light-duty off-road trims for the Explorer, the 4Runner is 100% the way to go if you want to take it to any trails or go overlanding and off-roading. That said, despite the impressive 465 lb-ft of torque available in the 4Runner hybrid, the 400-horsepower Explorer ST will be the road-going performance vehicle of choice. With a 5.2-second run to 60 miles per hour, according to Car and Driver, as well as bigger brakes and upgraded suspension, the ST will be a lot of fun even whilst hauling 4 kids and a dog in the back. Given the unibody construction of the Explorer and a massive amount of interior space, it should serve as the better family hauler as well. Fuel economy. Unfortunately, Toyota has yet to release fuel economy estimates for the latest 4Runner, but we can assume the numbers will be similar to the 2024 Tacoma. For the Taco, city MPG ranges from 18 with the manual transmission to 20 in most other automatic-equipped trims. The highway MPG ranges from 23 in the manual and off-road-oriented trims to an impressive 26 in the automatic rear-wheel drive versions. Though the actual numbers may differ slightly, we can use them as a measure against the more efficient Ford. The Explorer benefits from its unibody construction and its on-road design philosophy. It doesn't need to be an off-road monster like the Toyota, so the 4Runner's dual-purpose nature won't hinder it. When equipped with all-wheel drive and the 3.0-liter V6, the Explorer manages 18 mpg in the city and 24 mpg on the highway. To get the most out of your giant SUV, you'll have to opt for the rear-wheel drive 4-cylinder version, which will get you 21 mpg in the city and a surprisingly good 28 mpg on the highway. That said, most will likely opt for all-wheel drive and the 2.3-liter engine option. If so, most owners should get 20 mpg in the city and 27 mpg on the highway. Interior design and technology. Deciding between the Explorer and the 4Runner based solely on the interior will be down to whether or not you prefer physical buttons and knobs or touchscreen controls. Like many manufacturers, Ford has relegated many functions to the center infotainment screen. Thankfully, there are buttons to control the auto stop-start, traction control, and a knob for volume. Not only that, but the Explorer also sports some nicely designed steering wheel controls, so volume, track, and other basic functions can be operated without needing to stare at the center screen while on the move. Though the safety of touchscreen-operated climate control is questionable, Ford opted for a section of the screen to always be dedicated to climate control. This means you won't have to sort through menus when you just want to change the temperature. The 4Runner, in the traditional 4Runner approach, has not only included a whole host of buttons and knobs but has made them giant. Toyota has stated in the past that they want the controls to be operated with gloves on. To that end, they've been quite successful with this latest generation. The volume, temperature control, and drive selector knobs are huge. Large physical buttons are present for all climate functions, including heated seats and the optional heated steering wheel. Regarding material quality, the new 4Runner seems to have finally entered the modern era. The ancient center stack layout is gone, and the plastics and material choices seem to improve overall quality. If the Tacoma is any indication of what the 4Runner will feel like, NVH seems to have been a major priority for Toyota, as the latest Tacoma is reported to offer a much more quiet and comfortable interior experience. Though not introducing a new generation of the Explorer for 2025, Ford has made changes to the material choices, including new soft-touch materials on the center console and doors. The Explorer also has a redesigned dashboard and center stack that has removed buttons, but it has also created more room for passengers and looks much more aesthetically pleasing than the pre-facelift models. Technology comparison. Toyota is rarely on the cutting edge regarding technology, especially when it comes to infotainment. Despite being slightly behind the curve, Toyota has made some massive updates to the previous generation 4Runner's ancient tech. Now firmly leaving 2010 behind, Toyota is offering a standard 8.0-inch touchscreen with an optional 14.0 screen available in higher trims. Naturally, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard and even connect wirelessly. In addition to smartphone connectivity, there are also 3 USB-C ports, a wireless charging pad, and what appears to be a 12V power outlet. Perhaps the most impressive is the available 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster screen. That said, in lower models, a 7-inch screen is standard and should provide plenty of useful information. In addition to the new infotainment tech, Toyota now offers the 4Runner with a digital key. Not too dissimilar from Tesla, this digital key will allow you to use your smartphone for entry and ignition and will also allow you to let others use the digital key instead of needing to hand them your physical keys. Ford has ditched the standard 8.0-inch touchscreen and the poorly integrated 10.1 vertically oriented screen on the most expensive trims. In its place is a standard 13.2-inch screen that is now running an Android Automotive OS system Ford calls Ford Digital Experience. This ostensibly replaces SANC4, though SANC4 will still be available on most Ford vehicles. Ford Digital Experience utilizes Google Assistant integration, similar to Volvo, which allows you to utilize Google voice commands and access a wider range of apps from the Google Play Store. It also offers 5G connectivity and cloud-based personalization, which should learn your preferences over time. Thankfully, this does not mean the exclusion of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, which will both still be compatible with the new infotainment system. Blue Cruise, Ford's equivalent to GM's Super Cruise and Tesla's Autopilot, is also available and likely to give the edge, no Ford pun intended, to the Explorer when it comes to the on-road driving experience. Interior room and cargo capacity. The Explorer offers 46 CUFT with the third row laid down, but only 18.3 when all seats are in place. Ford offers a $245 cargo management system that includes a cargo mat, a cargo net, and a rubber mat. If you want more cargo options, you can opt for an $85 or $160 cargo organizer that should be good for holding breakable items you don't want flying around in the back. Unfortunately, we don't yet have the specs for the 2025 4Runner, but if the previous generation is anything to go by, things should be pretty competitive. The 2024 4Runner only offered half the space when the optional third row was in place, but with the third row down or not optioned, the previous gen Toyota came out just a little ahead in cargo space. The 2024 model year also offers a $350 sliding rear cargo deck and various cargo accessories, so we expect similar options for 2025. Until then, we'll just have to wait and see.